If you bought a bike in the US, it was probably made in China. 9 out of 10, in fact. That's over 10 million bikes a year. But with the new tariffs, that number is sliding. In just the first quarter of this year, US imports from China dropped by 17%. The result? Bikes cost more in America, and Chinese factories struggle to keep their orders. But the story of the bicycle isn't just about rising prices or falling sales. It reflects a deeper divide between Chinese and American manufacturing. And it raises a bigger question: can tariffs bring manufacturing back to America? Or when we talk about manufacturing today, what are we really talking about? A single bicycle can show us the answer. Hello, I'm Cici. Welcome to my channel. And here I look at global events, neutral, a bit fun, and from a Chinese perspective. And let's rewind and see how China and the US ended up on two very different bicycle roads. In China, bikes once ruled the streets. A Phoenix bicycle could literally seal a marriage deal. For families, owning a bike was like owning a lifeline. Over a few decades, China built more bicycles than anyone else on Earth. That's why it was called the Kingdom of Bicycles. Meanwhile, in the US, bikes were never a necessity. They were toys for the weekend, gifts for kids, fitness tools. 1999, US manufacturing jobs hit nearly 20 million, peak. But then globalization flipped the script. Factories left, finance and tech rose. Factory jobs disappeared. Bicycles, same story. Local production shrank. At the very moment America's bicycle industry was fading, China's production was shifting into high gear. In the early days, a single factory would handle almost everything, from the frame to the final assembly. But after the reform era opened the doors, export demand and economies of scale pushed things in a new direction. Don't be fooled by how small a bicycle looks. It actually takes a complex system to make one. Frames, wheels, chains, handlebars, tires, reflectors, rims, grips, and the steel tubes. Each part began to come from its own specialized factory, backed by customer machinery, skilled workers, and supplier networks. Take Tianjin as an example. By the 2000s, the city was home to thousands of component makers, covering everything from steel processing to wheel assembly. That's how China turned one simple bike into an entire ecosystem. Trump's tariffs tried to drag manufacturing back, but the idea was still stuck. One place, one border. The result? Online, people roasted it, calling it the Tariff Dream Factory. Reality check: that made in US bike, even with shiny new factories, most of the parts like gears, frames, and brake pads still come from China or other Asian suppliers. Take Guardian Bikes. They proudly opened a shiny new factory in Indiana. Sounds patriotic, right? Well, here's a catch. It tightens last screws, only handle final assembly. It's like claiming you cooked dinner when the whole meal shows up in a delivery box. In fact, manufacturing isn't about a single factory animal. It's a global puzzle, driven by the flow of supply chains. The irony, politicians still talk about it like it's just one big workshop. down the street. Some say, no problem, just move manufacturing to Mexico. It's close to US, there's a free trade deal. Sounds like the perfect way to escape China, right? But here's the reality. A lot of those factories in Mexico are still run by Chinese companies, just with a new zip code. Take Yadea, for example, China's e-bag giant. They've invested $80 million in a plant in Mexico, bringing everything from frame welding to painting. And the goal? Still the same, exporting straight to the US and Latin America. What's even more ironic is that many of these factories were not pushed by China. They were invited by American clients. In one industrial park in the northern Mexico, a Chinese manager named Su Xiuyong starts a workday by leading a group of Mexican workers in Chinese-style morning exercises. For the American customers, it's a shortcut to train a disciplined workforce. For the Chinese managers, it's about transplanting a familiar rhythm of efficiency into foreign soil. Somewhere in between, a strange kind of US-China teamwork emerges. America wants a localization? Fine. China builds the lines, trains the workers. The US handles the branding and the sales. The supply chain hasn't been cut. It's only changed its mailing address. And here's the kicker. When low-end exports got squeezed, Chinese companies just moved upmarket. Chinese XDS sells a carbon fiber racing bike for around $1,300. American premium brands try several thousands. So while America defends its luxury turf, China quietly delivers luxury straight to your door. One bicycle tells a bigger story. Manufacturing isn't about geography anymore, it's about supply chains. Try to pull it back, it's reroutes. Try to cut it off, and it fuels your competition. So the question isn't, can manufacturing return? It's, within a logic of supply chains, how much control does America really have left? So what do you think? Can America really bring manufacturing back, or are supply chains just too global to untangle? Drop your take in the comments, I'd love to hear it. And if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and join me for more stories told from a Chinese perspective. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.